We have always believed that lions hunt Cape buffalo using overwhelming physical force and numbers. But here's what actually happens when the sun sets over the Okavango Delta. How does a predator use the invisible geometry of fear to shatter an impenetrable fortress? What is the exact psychological breaking point that makes a massive herd turn on itself? And why does the hunted prey actually hold the ultimate power of survival? The real strategy is infinitely more calculated and terrifying than we ever imagined. And the reason we all believe the wrong thing is even stranger than reality. Watch these 10 females approach a massive herd of 500 buffalo at dusk. They do not charge blindly into the wall of muscle and razor-sharp lethal horns. Instead, they spread out in total silence, forming a wide, invisible crescent around them. They are not looking for the weakest calf or the oldest bull right now. They are waiting for something entirely different to emerge from the dense grazing herd. A single Cape buffalo weighs nearly a ton and can easily crush a lioness. When they stand together, horns facing outward, they are an impenetrable fortress of defense. No predator on Earth can break that line without suffering fatal injuries in return. So the lions do not try to break the physical line of the herd. They are hunting something much more fragile than flesh and bone in the darkness. They are hunting the psychological breaking point of one specific animal in the crowd. The real story begins when the led lioness makes a deliberate, sudden false charge. She does not intend to catch anything on this initial short burst of speed. She stops short, watching carefully how the massive black wall reacts to her movement. She is throwing a pebble into a pond to watch how the ripples form. The herd shifts, muscles tensing, hooves stamping the dusty ground in defensive, nervous agitation. This is when the lions deploy their true weapon against the giant black beasts. They do not hunt the buffalo. They actively isolate the fear within the herd. They are looking for the one individual that breaks the collective discipline of defense. The one that turns its head away from the threat for a split second. The one whose panic overrides its instinct to stand shoulder to shoulder with others. In that fractional moment of hesitation, the geometry of the entire battlefield instantly changes. The invisible net tightens exactly around the space that panic just created for them. Stop. What you just saw was only recognized by behavioral ecologists very recently. Predators can detect minute shifts in heart rates and pupil dilation from a distance. They are reading the emotional state of the herd before making their final move. They only commit to the attack when the psychological collapse has already physically happened. The physical takedown is merely the conclusion of a psychological war they already won. They weaponize the panic of their prey against the sheer physical size they lack. Why did we misunderstand this dynamic for so long in our wildlife observation history? Because human observers are naturally drawn to the chaotic dust and the roaring struggle. We watched the final brutal collision and assumed it was the entire hunting strategy. We completely missed the silent chess match that took place 30 minutes before contact. Now see it from where the prey is standing in the middle of darkness. You are surrounded by hundreds of your kind, but you cannot see the enemy. You only feel the pressure tightening around the edges of your vision every second. The lions are orchestrating a masterpiece of terror designed to force a fatal mistake. One wrong step backward is all they need to trigger the final deadly sequence. The old myth suggested lions run their prey down in an exhausting physical marathon. The truth is that a Cape buffalo can outlast any lion in a straight chase. Buffalo possess massive lungs and immense stamina built for long-distance migrations across Africa. Lions are sprinters, carrying heavy muscle mass that overheats rapidly after just 3 minutes. If this were a contest of pure physical endurance, the lions would always fail. This brings us to the deepest truth about survival in the Okavango Delta. Evolution did not build the lion to be faster or stronger than the buffalo. Evolution built the lion to be an unparalleled master of manipulating animal psychology. They understand the emotional vulnerabilities of their prey better than any human scientist ever could. And suddenly, it happens. A young buffalo near the edge makes the fatal error. Panicked by the invisible pressure, it turns away from the defensive wall and bolts. In an instant, the collective safety of the massive herd evaporates into absolute chaos. The lions do not need to fight 500 buffalo anymore tonight. Because of that one psychological break, they now only have to fight one. The target is isolated, stripped of the herd's armor, running blind into the dark. This is how you defeat an army without ever facing its full unified strength. You convince one soldier to break rank, and the entire fortress crumbles from within. The sheer biological efficiency of this psychological warfare is absolutely staggering to witness firsthand. By avoiding direct physical confrontation, the lionesses ensure their own long-term survival in nature. An injured lion cannot hunt tomorrow, and a starving lion cannot feed her cubs. So they use terror as a tool to minimize the physical risk they take. This changes everything about how we understand the balance of power in the wild. We used to think the predator possessed absolute power over the helpless, frightened prey. But the prey actually holds the ultimate power as long as they stay unified. The predator only wins when the prey voluntarily surrenders its greatest natural defensive advantage. The savanna is not ruled by those with the sharpest teeth or heaviest muscles. It is ruled by those who can control their fear when darkness finally falls. And it is ruled by those who know exactly how to exploit that fear. Think about how this applies to the world far beyond the African grass plains. We see this exact same dynamic play out in every level of natural existence. Fear is the ultimate weapon, and isolation is always the inevitable fatal consequence. Send this video to someone who still thinks nature is just about physical strength. Then tell us in the comments below, what other animal myth needs to fall? Because we have a list, and some of them will completely shock your perspective. We have spent decades watching the wrong part of the great African survival drama. We focused on the blood and the dust, and completely missed the invisible war. The next time you watch a wildlife documentary, look away from the final bite. Look at the exact moment the herd breaks, and you will see the truth. You will see the precise second the psychological battle was permanently lost. The buffalo are not defeated by the physical strength of their feline hunters. They are defeated by the immense weight of their own uncontrolled panic. It is a sobering reminder of how delicate the line of survival truly is. One breath of panic, one step backward, and the geometry of the entire battlefield instantly changes forever. The myth was wrong, but the animal was never confused.